Alright, gonna continue recording, and I don't have a lot of time left before I gotta kind of get ready for werewolf stuff.
I mean, we could call it here if you want.
I mean, yeah, but,
It's a, oh,
But she doesn't want. She wants to
well,
keep going.
haven't gotten the information from the elves yet, though.
Those fucking elves.
So I guess we could kind of hand wave it a bit if you guys want to tell me how you want to approach them. Are we sneaking up to the ship? Are we just gonna walk up to them?
Well, we've got the ID and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and we've also got, if a stupid one, but a shape changer. So what if Squish is like they approach and it's like that's not me, like a performance role or something.
I mean, Ari can also just cast Pass Without Trace.
Oh yeah, there's also that. Yeah, let's do that.
Or she could play up her being short and just be like, "Hey, I found this. I think it belongs to somebody important."
Squish sneaks aboard and starts some fires. That's not killing or eating anyone.
All right. Well, I think we'll continue to where Squish reunites with everybody after doing his reconnaissance, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Okay. I thought that maybe since the elf said that the Thunderstruck was there, that I could just quietly sneak away with it. But I cannot. There are so many elves. Skrag, if you made all the elves there into jerky, it would fill half the ship. It is so many elves.
tempting.
But I did not kill or eat any of them.
Good for you, Squish.
There are many, many ships. Elf ships. Has Squish ever seen that many in one place before?
I'm gonna say no, not recently.
It is more than I have ever seen together. All at once. Certainly here.
No.
Question: are any of the ships actively being repaired?
Um,
Like the elven ships in particular?
the elven ships, actually, no, they're not. They're not in the dry dock. They're just kind of mixed in with the various ships and vessels that are at like the main docks themselves. Um, I guess actually, you know what? Yeah, maybe one of them is in the dry dock, but it kind of looks like it's mostly just maintenance being done on it. Um, as you see, it's parked next to the Astral Reaver, and it looks like the elf ship only has elves working on it, doing their maintenance.
So at least that's one ship out of the 40, right?
Out of the four.
You gotta keep it positive, right? But right, guys.
um, yeah. Yeah.
I could sneak aboard if I knew what we were here to take. And I could take Ari. She is so quiet.
I think we're just here for information. But maybe I can sweet talk us.
I could provide a distraction. Ow!
Are you good?
That was Bucky jumping up on me and maybe clawing my foot a little bit.
Oh no.
So I did hear another cat.
I
Oh,
heard that purr.
oh.
I currently have my little loaf on my lap right now.
I am in need of a new loaf.
Hello, baby butt. Hello, baby butt.
Just imagine Durakka doing that to one of the elf guards on the dock. Just hello, hello, my baby boy.
just holding him up. Just hello.
I mean,
hello,
that is a
baby
distraction.
Yeah?
Oh, I'd be pretty fucking distracted.
boy.
I mean, I could try to accompany you guys. Somewhat.
This is good. It is a stealing, and I have been interested to try stealing. And it is information. So it is not like they can catch you with information unless they read your mind. But it is hard to do that to me. So I can try stealing, but I will not have the things stolen in my possession to get in trouble with.
Perhaps you and Ari should both go.
Okay.
Athoz is gonna snap his fingers, and he's gonna cast
Oh my god.
is to see if he can actually, because he hasn't done it in a while, so he wants to see if he can actually take on the appearance as one of the elves.
Okay. Yeah, so you can totally make yourself look like an astral elf.
What are the discrepancies?
Yes. So you can. How tall is Athoz?
10 foot.
I do not remember. It's just been a while.
Isn't it 7 feet?
Yeah, about 7 feet, I think.
Okay.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
In shoulder.
I'd say in that case you'd be a very abnormally tall and probably like abnormally like buff elf, but you're gonna look like an astral elf. So it's a good disguise.
I shrunk myself an inch as well, so it's instead of the 7 feet, it's just 6'9".
But you can go by foot, can't you?
Yeah, you can
Wait,
you can
by a foot?
shrink by a foot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an inch. It said.
Ari she has a forgery kit. She can forge him papers.
She would know what. She would have to know what they look like.
She
No
has
way.
she has the
Oh,
Admiral's
right,
papers.
right.
Yeah.
Couldn't she
Oh,
just
shit.
couldn't he just model himself after the dude?
But if the dude is already on the ship,
Oh,
Hard to.
so yeah, she's gonna do that real quick.
Okay.
Well, as fast as she can.
Yeah.
She's proficient in it as well, so she's literally the worst like town priest ever.
You know, I heard of corruption within the church, but
Yeah.
just get it too
Taking it
far.
to a whole new level. Yeah, it might take her like, a couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so you're able to kind of forge some identification papers as Athoz is kind of working on his disguise. So for Athoz, you can make yourself look a foot shorter or taller, and can kind of make yourself appear like different body types and such. But the illusion is not going to like match how you actually are. So like if you hit your head on a doorway, but the illusion looks like you're shorter than the doorway, then people are going to start asking questions.
It's fine. We got this. We got this. We got this. We got this.
But yeah, so you
So
have
here's the plan. Here's the plan. Zest,
Hmm.
you can pick Ari up easy.
Yes.
For this plan, you're gonna drag her up like you caught a thief. And ask to speak to the captain. Because she took his wallet. That gets us both on board. Bring Squish along. Boom.
I can hide in Ari's bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a contingency if we get close to being caught?
Sure do. We just
Oh,
turn
thank you.
invisible and leave.
Do you have the ability to turn me invisible?
Yeah. I have Pass Without Trace.
Why did that last one look like the girl from Lazy Town?
I have no words.
Why does she?
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. Don't worry about it.
Stephanie.
Don't
Okay.
worry about it. She's not here to bake a cake.
Is she following the recipe by the book?
Y'all quit it.
I guess. Wait, since they have it looks like helms on their faces. I guess his face is covered. Asos' face
Yeah,
covered
like
because
if
of the helm.
yeah, if you yeah, so
Well,
like
most of them anyway.
the face covered ones,
My initial thought was like the second one, because that is, it looks like a caster of some form.
second one is actually an Astral Elf Honor Guard. It's the one with the bow that is like apparently their standard like warrior type.
Okay.
These are also extra. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll say Athoz is disguising himself as one of like the standard soldier types, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, cool.
Alright then. I guess we should get started.
All right. Let's do it.
Alright, yeah, so as you approach the Thunderstruck, the giant kind of gift ship with the giant cannon, the oh yes, the Great Bombard. One of the elf guards on the dock kind of stops you as you're kind of holding Ari by like the scruff of the collar, and he says, who's this? As he is talking about Ari.
And then Aces has Ari by the scruff of I guess her shorts. Shirt. wrong SA
Wow,
shirt.
carrying her in a wedgie. That's brutal, but she has been stealing your shit for campaigns now, so.
Carry her in a wet. No, her shirt, not her shorts. A wedgie's too much. It's too far for Athos. And
Who's now
even,
Alphaz.
Elphos.
Alphos. And then Athos is gonna look at the guy, and he says, "I caught this little thief. She has the wallet of our captain." As he shakes her, don't you?
I told you I didn't take it. He dropped it.
So
Likely story.
you shake Ari, and kind of comically, like a whole bunch of stuff starts falling out. There's like a little like bird
Like
cage,
Yeah.
some bits and pieces, a few like gems, copper coins. There's even like a deck of cards that falls out and scatters on the floor.
And they're marked cards too.
As the elf guard kind of looks down and says, I see. Well, yeah, I guess we can take her to the captain. They're having dinner on the ship right now. Apparently something happened at the Laughing Beholder, and I guess the admiral and several of the officers had various things stolen. I think you found the thief.
I didn't do anything. He dropped it.
Likely story.
As
When I go up,
Though Ari should make sure that she lets slip about the pants, just so that the entire Elvish Navy is aware.
Yeah. And she is going to bring up the pants. She was like, yeah, him and all of his friends, they left after his fucking pants fell down. His wallet fell out of his pants, and I just picked it up. And then this guy just grabbed me.
all right, Ari, make a deception roll with advantage.
19 or 24.
As the guard says, all right, you know what? Put her down. We'll take her to the admiral. We'll see if he believes her story.
I probably shouldn't. She's gonna run away the second I leave her. I let her down. You can't trust these football-sized people.
Damn, getting out some of that inner frustration.
As the guard,
Ari just whips around and she's like, what did you call me?
as the guard
I said,
pauses for a second and says, all right, well, let's carry her on board then. Either way, we should probably take her to the admiral.
yeah. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna apologize for what you did. As he follows the guard behind him.
Okay.
Athoz is totally just taking this on. Like, it's just too literal. It's like, now make a sincere apology for your thieving ways. And Ari's like, I see what this is about.
All right. And as you're taking on board the ship, again, 20% ship, 80% cannon. As you're taken on board, and on one of the lower decks where the cannon is not, you're taken to this room where you see the various elvish officers and admiral kind of sitting around a table as they're eating food, drinking wine. It's almost as if what happened at the Laughing Beholder did not happen at all. As the guard and Athoz come in with Ari, and the guard speaks up and says, excuse me, sirs, as he stands at attention. We found this halfling here that claims that the admiral dropped his wallet. As the admiral stands up and says, all right, well, put her down, show her at least a crumb of dignity. Let her stand on her own 2 feet.
Give me a second. I'm fighting between two different characters right now.
Yeah.
You want to drop or don't you?
I do because
Be in
You
character.
know what?
I
Zest.
You are in character, in character. In characterception.
okay.
Yeah.
As he hears the command, it says, "Give her a sense of decency." He is going to let go. He's gonna lift her up and let go. And as she falls, he catches her and then puts her down gently.
She's gonna dust herself off like, thank you. Is that so hard? Trying
Unfortunately,
to
I
be
do
a
not.
good person here.
Unfortunately, I do not trust the words of a thief.
She's just gonna blow raspberries at him again.
And he's gonna narrow his eyes and glare.
All right. Enough. The Admiral interjects as he looks over at Athoz. You go back to your post. You're not needed here.
As he
Oh boy.
does the same, as he does the same as the previous guard, as he salutes and nods as he dismisses himself off to the lower decks.
And the other guard leaves too, as he heads back to the dock where you found him before. And then back in the room, the Admiral says, I apologize for the bad manners of some of my underlings. Us elves have, well, as you know, very long lifespans, and some remember past wars, past conflicts more freshly than others. Please, have a seat. Would you like a drink?
Oh no, thank you. She seems perfectly at ease now.
All right. Well,
But she's gonna take a seat, clamber up onto one of the chairs
All
that's
right.
available, if any.
oh, there is a chair available.
Does
As
it have a high chair in it? little booster.
I kind of want to say yes. Like they have a slightly taller chair just in mind for halfling guests. But yeah, as Ari is seated and the Admiral kind of goes back around to his seat and says, "All right, well, forgive me for my bluntness, madam, but what is your side of the story? You
And
found my wallet?"
yeah, I did. After your pants fell down in front of everybody.
Damn it! I thought you weren't going to bring that up when you rolled a D2.
And you see
Just,
him.
let me cook here. But it's okay. It you know what happens? It's happened to me. I know a lot of people it's happened to. Just the belts give out. Especially after you drink. I don't know what it is.
Oh my god!
Sure. Yes. As you see him kind of cringe as he says, "Yeah, it seems belts have a habit of doing that sometimes."
Mm-hmm.
But yes, my wallet, if you don't mind.
And she's gonna set the wallet down. And push it forward with a finger. And she's also going to ask, who's Angor the Inevitable?
As he has a momentarily perplexed look on his face, and one of the other officers at the table interjects and says, "Actually, Admiral, sir, that is a name that, well, my ship, while we were scouting that asteroid field about a month or so ago, we came across a few ships that attacked us. And then this particular captain, she kind of gives this kind of boring report of what happened. But long story short is that the two ships were, the two attacking ships were destroyed in the conflict. They appeared to be kind of a light scouting class ship. But from the wreckage of one of the ships, she came across a tattered banner and some of a chest full of the ship's logs and records that mention this Angor the Inevitable. And this captain's hypothesis is that these two ships are part of a larger, potentially invading fleet that are going to be coming into this quadrant of space at some point in the future. And there isn't much more information than that. Unless you had like any specific questions. Your mic is muted.
She's gonna put the journal down that she also found.
And this captain is also gonna kind of reach for the journal as well, and she says, "I've yet to make an official report of it, but my notes are in my journal here."
Yeah, just, color me curious. I got a friend that, lost her entire homeworld to this guy.
And that gets the attention of, I'd say, the entire table, as the admiral looks at the captain with the journal and says, "Captain Mooncrown, I expect a full detailed report after dinner." And the admiral will turn to Ari and say, "Yes, I'm aware of some of these stories and legends of the Dukagshi, and I don't think I've ever heard of this Angor the Inevitable by name, but I am aware of this, the story of their great dishonor, the events that led to them becoming the nomadic mercenaries that they are."
You do what you gotta do to survive, right?
As he gives a nod. Indeed. And my fleet has paid for the services of a few Dukagshi ships in my time, so I'm familiar with them.
She's gonna nod sagely. Was there any food that's within grabbing distance of her?
Oh yes, yeah. There's food.
She's gonna grab a turkey leg or an apple or something. Just kind of help herself.
These are space elves, so it's just space whey bread. Hardtack.
No,
Eating it regardless.
No, that's they have they have some turkey legs, some ham, maybe some Caesar salad as well.
Caesar.
But yeah, and so as you dig in, the admiral actually invites Ari to stay for dinner for as long as she'd like. From the sounds of it, you probably missed a majority of the kind of military business side. From that point on, it's mostly small talk. like the officers kind of discuss like, oh, we could probably go to this system next. We could stop by this system after that. It sounds like they're kind of on this path of visiting various elf-populated solar systems and checking in with the elven populace on these populations on these various planets.
Ari's actually going to speak up about that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to say, do you guys not like other races all that much? Like, I see only elves working on the ships. All of you guys are elves. What about little people like me? I mean, the big guy didn't like me that much.
I'll definitely make sure one of the lieutenants talks to him about that. See, the admiral speaks up and says, "See, it's not that we don't like working with other races, other species. Our ships are special made. See, we actually grow our ships from a special kind of flower, and maintaining our ships takes a very specialized skill. And, well, it's not that we don't think, say, a human or a dwarf would be able to pilot one of our ships or take care of it. It's just in a wild space, there are the the astral dominions of various gods, and from one of those dominions, this special flower is grown, is native there, and with a certain set of skills and care, these flowers can be grown into our various ships, the man of wars, the flitters, the armada ships, and it's something of it's kind of like being on board it's kind of like being on board holy ground in a sense. And we want to make sure that our ships are given the proper care and respect that they deserve. There are times where we will hire mercenaries of other races and species. I mean, in my time, I have even had a few human crewmen on board. But the goals of the Elven Imperial Navy are not to serve one specific government or planet. It is to look after the interests of elves across wild space, across the various solar systems and spheres. And, one of those interests also happens to be cooperation. But in the long history of wild space, and it comes with the lifestyle of sailing. Sometimes various groups and factions do not agree, and wars are waged. The unhuman wars are one of such wars, where our people and Dukagshi and other spacefaring races waged war with each other for a very long time. Now, the halflings did not play a large part in those wars. I know halflings tend to be homebodies. They tend to stick to their own.
We're also farmers
That
and
is
gardeners.
that is
Except those two that defeated Space Sauron.
and that is also true. And sometimes when, well, wars don't just affect soldiers; they also affect the communities that they are waged in. And as such, there is no doubt halflings that took up arms against elves, and I cannot speak for that particular guard in particular, but some hold those resentments fairly close to heart. Invisible scars, if you will. Invisible wounds that are still healing. And there is no people that is... There is no one that is a monolith. As one of the captains speaks up and says, unless they're a hive mind. And the admiral nods and says, unless they are a hive mind. There are no races that are a monolith. Everyone is different and has their own individual experiences. And it just so happened that that particular guard took out his aggressions on you, and I do apologize for that.
It's all right. I did hear the speech at the bar. What was all of that about? Before the whole, and she kind of mimics the pants falling down with her hands.
Right. Okay. Well, it's...
While he's stumbling with those words,
Yeah,
I
basically
briefly cut over to-
what Ari is doing is just trying to buy time for Athoz to fuck around and take stuff if he wants.
Okay.
well,
That's why
about
she's wanting
that,
him to... Go ahead.
see,
I know it only goes
I
for
know
an
I
hour.
was told not to, and I was no by all reasons we shouldn't. It's just, when this whole game started, there was a lot more talk of piracy, and we kind of went more legit. But the entire command staff of this ship, and indeed leadership of the fleet, is in one room. So, with forbearance, I would like during Ari's initial speakings, I would like Squish to leave the bag surreptitiously, colored black, meet up with Athoz in a secluded part of the Thunderstruck,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, Athoz, we want to steal the ship, and I think we can.
How do you say that, little guy?
If I go out as the Admiral and say, all hands abandon ship. The powder magazine is aflame. And you make smoke and fire happen with your magic, everyone will leave the ship. And because the Admiral is saying it, no one will question it. And then it will just be you, a guy who is good at flying spelljammers, and me, who will protect your body while you do it. And they won't fire on us because there might be some aboard.
What about the Admiral and his higher-ups? They're with Miss Ari right now. As he goes into like a little corner out of sight as to hide the conversation. What about the Admiral and the others? They're going to come after us as soon as they hear the Admiral giving those orders.
I mean, give Ari a chance to be a pirate. Please.
I really feel very fond towards Captain Boswell. I think Riley did a great job on him, and I think he deserves his ship back.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe we'll have to devolve into some piracy as far as elf space, but we've already been eating them.
Most of us have.
So panning the camera back to Ari as the Admiral, he pauses for a moment and then kind of chuckles and says, "Oh yes, the former Admiral, now Captain Boswell. I suppose you could say we have a history together."
And Ari's she's gonna speak, like, just put her hands on the table and just be like, "In the bedroom?" Like, really loud.
No.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just boom. In the bedroom?
As the Admiral firmly exclaims, "No." See,
Good god.
good gods, madam.
While he's exclaiming, by the way, Ari feels a little tug on the cuff of one of her... Oh, I guess she doesn't have pants. She has those skirts. She feels a little poke in her ankle, and a tiny little squish whispers very quietly to her.
That cut out.
I think we're gonna take the ship.
Ari doesn't respond, but
Of
it's clear
course.
that she heard it.
Yep. Piracy.
Woo!
All right, it gets a little meta, but can Athoz use the uses familiar to signal Skrag? Is that a thing that
I mean-
familiars can do?
Could
Yeah,
Skrag... Because I know that Skrag has the telepathy. Does it work both ways?
No, it's only
Oh, okay.
projecting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say you could probably do that. Like, it sounds like something that Athoz has probably done before. As Ari, the Admiral, is kind of going into like his side of events regarding Captain Boswell, and he seems to kind of like, basically the long story short is that Boswell actually used to work for the Admiral's fleet, kind of as a hired mercenary, and used to have his own fleet. But then there was a battle with some Illithids where Boswell charged in and got ambushed, essentially. And while the GIF don't really demote you unless you fuck up like really, really bad, he took the ambush to heart and kind of demoted himself. And after Boswell kind of lost most of his ships, except for the Thunderstruck, and while he was kind of down on his luck, and losing at a basically a poker game, Boswell wagered the Thunderstruck, and the Admiral won it off of him.
See, my initial thought was like, what if the Admiral was like cheating at cards and that's how he won it? But that could just be...
Oh
I-
god, did he win the ship square?
He won.
Squish doesn't
this-
really get that ship, but god damn it, Boswell.
Yes, he won the ship fair and square.
Okay. Because that's
That's just
essentially
kicking
what
somebody while
Ari
they're
was like trying to get him to like admit. Like if he was like, "Oh yeah, haha."
Nope.
No,
Nope,
you
it
guys
was
just
fair.
have a bias in favor of Boswell,
we love our
Which-
fucking hippo man.
which is
To be
working
fair,
as intended.
That's kind of kicking him while he's down. Like, win the ship and then give it back, you know?
Yeah, elves don't got that kind of class.
But we do. Anyway, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah,
He's
and,
good.
and the Admiral is like, who names it? And then Boswell got this new ship and named it Space Pirate, which gets some like kind kind of humorous chuckles around the table.
Squish just straight up bursting into the room. It's the Astral Reaver, you fucks!
No.
No.
All right.
So yeah,
So Athoz, you are going to the helm, I'm guessing.
Yes, I'm gonna try to sneak away with my helm, and as I do, I ask Squish, can you guide me as I deliver a message to Skrag and Miss Durakka?
yes, I can
Just
do
make sure-
that.
Just make sure that I don't hit anything and just nudge my way. As
Yep,
he
Squish
closes-
just freaking quietly puppeteers Athoz within his illusion.
as Athoz closes his real eyes and begins to transmit his consciousness to the owl. And Skrag and Durakka will see the owl get more animated. Hey Skrag, Mr. Durakka, can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Yo.
We're at the ship right now, and I got good news and I got bad news.
You're going to steal the ship, aren't you?
They want to do that, yes.
So what's the bad news?
The bad news is that
I
we're
love you,
probably not
Jack.
gonna be able to come. We're not gonna be able to probably come back to Bell Rock for a while. Quite a while.
Fine by me. He looks at Durakka. You?
That's fine by me.
Make sure, if you can, go and gather up the crew to make sure that they're ready to go at the drop of a hat.
Say no more. And yep. He's gonna go make sure. But
Oh, it says the owl's just gonna land on Skrag's shoulder and just turn to the normal owl.
well, this night just got exciting. And he heads back to relay the information.
All right. As you relay that information to Boswell, you catch him mid deep drink as he's reminiscing about the Thunderstruck again. And when you tell him, "Hey, we're gonna steal the Thunderstruck," he spits his drink across the table and all over the poor commander.
Just thought you should know. Okay, bye.
Scuttles off like a crab.
Fucking crap. Excuse me.
And as you scuttle off like a crab, is the GIF and the rest of the crew that the part of the crew that went to the Laughing Beholder start rushing out as they're running to the Astral Reaver. You hear, once they get to this ship, you hear some bells being rung, trying to call as many of the crew back to the ship as possible. And as you are kind of heading to the Thunderstruck, Athoz, I will allow you to attune to the Spelljammer instantly if you burn a second level spell slot.
Is there anybody in the deck or in the helm area right now before I actually say yes?
Oh yeah.
I can't believe he's gonna hotwire this fucking ship.
Well, first we got to do this distraction, smoke, and fire anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
You have an illusion spell by any chance, or we could just do real fire. Elves would probably see through an illusion anyway.
Actually, the way the ship is set up, the spell jamming helm is kind of in its own little compartment. It's like the chair, and then there's like a kind of a navigator's desk like right next to it, and then the door behind that chair is the captain's quarters, or the spelljammer's quarters. So they're like, you can slip into this room and there are no guards inside. So you could literally just sit down and steal the ship. There are a few guards kind of up and down the various decks, though. But other than that, and the officers, it's practically free for the taking.
They really are They really are arrogant in this thing, aren't they? Oh well.
All right.
No, we're
So, ready to clear the ship?
yeah. As Athoz in his disguise takes his rapier, and Squish begins to see a green flame just dance around the blade. All right, just tell me where to set fire.
They'll do like some of the powder, like a scattering of the powder, enough for the distinctive. What's that powder called again? They call it something very simple. The gifts powder.
I do not remember off the top of my head.
I'm calling it gunpowder. So, enough for some smoke, some flames, etc. And Squish will get in a position, use that disguise self, and disguise self confers advantage to performance, or...
I think so, yeah. That sounds about right.
Okay. So... All hands off the vessel. All hands to shore. The powder magazines are burning. Just like trying to mimic exactly what Boswell might have said, but like elvishly.
Okay. All right, sounds good. As
Ringing the bells, etc., etc.
as panning the camera back to Ari, you hear that voice that sounds like the Admiral calling for all hands to abandon ship, and the room kind of goes into like confused chaos as one of the captains opens the door, and there's like the elf guards are kind of moving to jump off the ship, and the Admiral's like, "Hey, that wasn't me," and then everybody smells the smoke, and they're like, "Shit, get off the ship!"
With question: how big is the room?
I'm gonna say it's pretty small. It's
Well, but officer quarters for gifts, so it can only be so small.
yeah. It's like it's one long table at the bottom deck, and the table takes up like a good chunk of the room. The seats are kind of like it's kind of more of a bench.
Would you say that it's about 30 feet wide?
It's about 30 feet wide, yeah. What are you doing?
Bombing them.
Oh my god.
They're not leaving.
Oh.
They're not leaving.
What are you doing? I'm scared.
It's all the leaders of the other ships. It gives us a chance to leave with this ship.
Wait, bombing them?
Yeah, with the spirit
Don't you
guardian.
have like a... Oh no, I guess it's Zest who's got the webs. We really just need to trap them. If we kill them, we don't have any leverage. As long as the Admiral and captains are alive aboard the ship, they dare not fire upon us.
All right. So with spirit
And they won't
guardians
know that.
going off, as the elf guards are abandoning ship, The admiral and captains are getting hit with spirit guardians. You hit them all pretty good as spirit guardians start manifesting and whacking these elves around. The admiral, you hear him kind of yell with a
Yeah, because
agitated
the affected creature's speed is halved in the area. It's the closest thing I have to like the webbing and stopping them.
Yeah, you hear the captain kind of let out an agitated and furious yell, Boswell! And everyone in the room except for you, Ari, immediately teleports.
Oh. Well, ship's hours, go, 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 go!
As Athoz puts on the helm, sits down, and immediately just burns through as much magic as he has to take control of the ship as fast as he can.
All right, so you burn a second level spell slot to instantly attune to the ship, and then you burn another spell slot of your choice to get basically double speed as the Thunderstruck starts to turn away from the docks. The sudden increase in speed snaps the ropes that secure it to the docks, or better yet, kind of drags part of the docks with it. Skrag and Durakka, are you jumping aboard the ship? Or are you gonna...
Oh no, they did.
Or are you gonna run towards the Astral Reaver?
Shit, did we lose them both? Oh wait.
Can you hear me now?
I
There
can
we
hear
go.
you.
Yep.
Hello.
There you go.
At this point, well, what would they be closer to, the Reaver?
You'll probably be closer to the Thunderstruck. I assumed you guys were heading towards it.
Yeah. Then the Thunderstruck, because that's where they were going to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's where Skrag was going. What about Durakka?
Ellie, are you there?
Sorry.
It's okay. The Thunderstruck is being stolen.
We pirates.
Pirating. Do you want to head back to the Astral Reaver, or are you going to hop on board the Thunderstruck?
I guess I will help out by hopping on the Thunderstruck.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Tossing any remaining elves overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this lunch.
I'm kind of imagining it as like the two of you are running up the plank to get on board the ship, as like most of the elves have gotten off. There's one unlucky straggler that just gets body tackled by Durakka and knocked off as he's like falling like Wilhelm scream down past the docks and then kind of bounces in the gravity plane.
Like something from that
Yeah.
thank you. That Japanese obstacle show.
Yeah. And as you both of you are kind of land onto the ship, that's when Athoz attunes to the ship and violently pulls away from the dock as the rigging securing the Thunderstruck to the ship docks is pulled, and you take some of the dock with you as the Astral Reaver is not too far behind. The two elvish man-of-wars immediately spur to action as there is an exciting chase scene where there are like the Navy on the Rock of Brawl has no idea what's going on, so they're like shooting some ballista bolts. Ships are ducking and weaving. As one of the elvish man of wars is starting to catch up to the Thunderstruck for like a boarding party to jump on, that's when the Astral Reaver comes up from below and slams into it. And then both ships run off into wild space as you leave the Rock of Brawl's air bubble and catch the current of the flow. And you see the elven armada in the distance kind of moving to catch up. And kind of like a swarm of bees, you see several dozens of smaller elvish fighters kind of start swarming to action like bees leaving a beehive. And that is where we're going to leave off.
The grand
We finally got to do our pirating.
Nice.